I'll take the cellar.
What are these mercenaries to kill me? You cannot control me or to make me so. You can kill you.
Go get her!
I just am.
Time's up. Where's the burn?
Get out of here!
You know, you're a lucky man.
Well, you're lucky.
This is your last time. If you give me the wrong answer, you.
Breathe. Your hairdresser.
With you. Take it off.
A puppet in a hat.
Now! Get back!
There's no way out.
Let's backtrack.
No se... Perdona. Can disease. Cut Munroe off!
Parasites hired you, didn't they? Pretty freaking stupid to happen. And then they wanted mercenaries.
Well, for her!
Call it a top. No, you're not as fast as you think.
Soviet. Get firm with me, Red. You take care. What?
Potulo. Pay now!
There's your money.
$5 million. Eh?
What is that? No!
What happened?
Les,
I'll take the fall on the leg.
I don't care!
We'll see.
You want the money? What's that? Come on, keep dreaming. See any knives, actually. How you get us?
Seriously demented.
Yeah! This isn't how you go. It's good.
Yeah? Not polite enough? My partner here kicked me with steel tip.
8 stitches. Let him go.
Call you on the telephone, baby. Always no huggy, duggy, on no champagne.
Are you cool?
No. Doom.
Because they're taller. When I travel, anything you think.
The family, right?
I do.
General Garza, the corrupt dictator of Vilena, is merely a puppet for the ruthless rogue CIA operative James Munroe, who profits from the island nation's misery. When the elite mercenary team known as the Expendables is hired to assassinate Garza, their leader Barney Ross and knife expert Lee Christmas uncover the depth of Munroe's evil. Torn between their mission and their conscience, the team launches a full-scale assault to liberate Vilena and rescue an innocent woman, facing overwhelming odds and a betrayal from within their own ranks.
My turn! Kill him.
Am I dying? Take that as a yes. Who cares?
In your miserable life. Is the girl still alive?
No sé.
Alto, dijeron para nunca venir aquí. Por dar de la hija. Are you crazy?
She's coming with us, right?
No, I can't leave.
Yeah, what?
Go!
Oh, no, I can't.
Let's go.
Hey! Anybody want to... Great job.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into a movie that is essentially a love letter to every action hero you've ever wanted to see in one place, The Expendables from 2010. This movie is less a film and more a symphony of explosions, muscle, and one-liners that hit harder than a freight train. We're gonna break down every bone-crunching, gun-blazing, and surprisingly heartfelt moment, giving you the full lowdown on why this team of grizzled veterans redefined overkill in the most glorious way possible. If you liked this sneak peek, hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel and let me know you want more. So, we kick things off naturally with an explosion. It's the only proper way to introduce the Expendables, isn't it? The scene opens on a cargo ship, somewhere off the coast of Somalia. The air is thick with tension, the rhythmic sloshing of the ocean against the hull providing a grim soundtrack. We see hostages, bound and terrified, their faces etched with despair. Then, like a whispered rumor before a hurricane, the men themselves appear. There's Barney Ross, played by Sylvester Stallone, looking like he carved his face out of granite, his eyes holding the weary wisdom of 1,000 battles. He moves with a quiet authority, a Glock 19 held with casual confidence. Beside him, Lee Christmas, Jason Statham, with a wicked grin and an even wickeder way with knives, his movements precise and deadly as he scales a bulkhead. The rest of the crew isn't far behind. We've got Yin Yang, Jet Li, a blur of motion and martial arts prowess, his small stature belying the absolute whirlwind of destruction he's about to unleash. Toll Road, Randy Couture, a burly, imposing figure who looks like he could punch through a wall, his face a canvas of old scars and thoughtful grimaces. Hale Caesar, Terry Crews, a man whose shotgun looks like a toy in his massive hands, its barrel glinting ominously. And then there's Gunner Jensen, Dolph Lundgren, all towering blonde menace and unpredictable aggression, a walking, talking powder keg. Their mission? Rescue the hostages from a group of Somali pirates who clearly didn't check the "Do Not Disturb" sign on this particular vessel. The initial breach is textbook perfection, silent entry, quick takedowns, the metallic thwack of a knife hitting flesh, the muffled grunt as a pirate crumples. But this isn't a stealth mission for long. Gunner, bless his trigger-happy heart, decides a little more flair is needed. He unleashes a torrent of gunfire, turning a quiet rescue into an absolute cacophony of chaos. Rounds rip through the ship's interior, sparks flying as bullets ping off metal surfaces. The pirates, initially caught off guard, scramble, returning fire with desperate abandon. Barney, ever the pragmatist, grimaces but adapts, barking orders over the escalating din. Christmas is a whirlwind, his knives flashing with terrifying speed, embedding themselves with sickening thuds into targets, often followed by a rapid-fire succession of punches that land with a wet crack. Yin Yang is a human tornado, spinning and kicking, his fists connecting with bone-jarring force. You hear the sharp snap of a wrist, the choked cry of a pirate, followed by Yin Yang's quick, almost apologetic huff. Toll Road is a bulldozer, engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat, his punches sounding like distant thunder. He takes a hit, barely flinches, then retaliates with a roar and a headbutt that would make a ram jealous. Caesar, meanwhile, unleashes his shotgun, the booming blam, echoing through the ship, sending bodies flying back with bone-shattering force. The sheer force of the shotgun blasts feels like it's vibrating through your very bones. It's an orchestral piece of destruction, loud, violent, and utterly effective. Amidst the chaos, a particular pirate tries to make a break for it with one of the female hostages. Gunner, seeing red, disregards Barney's orders to take the pirate alive, spraying bullets wildly. The pirate goes down, but the collateral damage is almost a reality as a stray round narrowly misses the hostage's head. Barney is furious, his voice a low growl of pure exasperation. This isn't the first time Gunner has gone off script, and it won't be the last. The tension between them is palpable, thick and dangerous, crackling like frayed wires. After securing the remaining hostages and dispatching the last of the pirates, the team makes their escape, the sound of their helicopter blades chopping through the air, leaving behind a bullet-riddled, burning hulk of a ship. It's a successful mission, technically, but the internal friction is already showing cracks in their well-oiled machine. This is less team synergy and more managed chaos with a side of potential insubordination. Back in New Orleans, the guys settle back into their home base, a gritty, unassuming dockside area that perfectly matches their rough-and-tumble aesthetic. Their main hangout is a tattoo parlor run by Tool, played by the endlessly captivating Mickey Rourke. Tool isn't just a tattoo artist, he's the team's sage, their confessor, a man whose eyes hold the weight of every dark secret and regret. His hands, adorned with intricate ink, move with practiced ease as he works on a new piece for Barney. The buzzing of the tattoo gun is a constant, almost therapeutic hum in the background. Tool, with his gravelly voice, shares a poignant story about a woman he once saw, someone who chose to burn herself alive rather than live in shame after being defiled. He describes the scent of burning flesh, the silent scream in her eyes, a visceral memory that hangs heavy in the air. It's a moment of profound sadness and introspection, a stark contrast to the high-octane violence we just witnessed. It reminds us that these men, despite their hardened exteriors, are still haunted by the ugliness of the world they navigate. It also hints at the kind of moral dilemmas that often surround their work, even if they usually opt for more straightforward shoot-the-bad-guy solutions. Meanwhile, Christmas is grappling with his own personal drama. His girlfriend, Lacey, played by Charisma Carpenter, has left him for a sleazy, abusive boyfriend. Christmas tries to talk to her, his voice a mix of hurt and quiet anger, but she's trapped, unable to leave her situation. He offers her money, a way out, but she refuses. It's a raw, vulnerable moment for the usually unflappable Christmas, showing a side of him that's rarely seen in the heat of battle. The quiet frustration in his voice, the way his knuckles subtly whiten as he clenches his fists, speak volumes about his internal struggle. Later, he confronts her new boyfriend on a basketball court, a scene that quickly escalates from a war of words to an exhibition of Christmas's lethal knife skills, not on the man, but on anything around the man. Knives thwip through the air, embedding themselves in the basketball hoop, the wall, even the man's chair, with terrifying precision. The boyfriend, naturally, soils himself, figuratively and literally, understanding the message loud and clear. Then comes the call that pulls Barney into the next big job. He's summoned to a dilapidated church, a location that feels more like a clandestine meeting spot for mob bosses than a place of worship. Inside, he finds not just one, but two legendary figures. There's Church, a mysterious, shadowy figure played by Bruce Willis, who emanates a quiet, understated power. And then, standing right beside him, is Trench Mauser, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, looking every bit as formidable and iconic as you'd expect. The sheer wattage of star power in that scene is enough to power a small city. You half expect them to arm wrestle for the mission brief. Church, after a brief, surprisingly witty exchange with Barney, seriously, these guys are practically throwing movie quotes at each other, decides against taking the mission, citing personal reasons, or perhaps just a desire to save his energy for later sequels. He leaves, but not before a subtly menacing glance, a silent acknowledgement of their shared violent past. Barney, intrigued and in need of the money, accepts the mission, despite a nagging feeling that something about it doesn't quite add up. The air in the church is heavy with unspoken implications, the stained glass windows casting a muted, almost somber light on the clandestine deal. Barney and Christmas embark on a recon mission to Vilena. They fly in a beat-up seaplane, the rhythmic roar of its engine a constant companion. The island from the air looks lush and beautiful, but the moment they land, the oppressive atmosphere of a military dictatorship becomes chillingly apparent. They are met by a local contact, a seemingly innocent woman named Sandra, played by Giselle Ite, who works as Garza's daughter. Her eyes hold a mixture of fear and defiance. She's their guide, showing them around the heavily fortified compound, trying to point out weaknesses. As they move through the bustling, impoverished streets, the tension is palpable. Soldiers patrol with an almost casual brutality, their presence a constant threat. Sandra reveals the ugly truth. Her father, General Garza, is not the real power. He's a puppet controlled by a rogue CIA operative named James Munroe, played with sneering villainy by Eric Roberts. Munroe is the true architect of Vilena's suffering, exploiting the country for his own financial gain, backed by his hulking, silent enforcer, Payne, played by Steve Austin. Munroe is the kind of guy who probably kicks puppies for fun and then complains about the quality of the kick. The truth shifts the entire moral landscape of their mission. It's no longer a simple assassination. It's a tangle of political corruption and human suffering. Barney and Christmas are, despite their mercenary status, men with a code. They don't just kill for money, they kill bad guys. And Munroe is a very bad guy. They witness his cruelty first.
Their recon mission goes sideways, as these things always do in action movies. They're spotted, an alarm blares, and suddenly the quiet observation turns into an adrenaline-fueled escape. Gunfire erupts, a chaotic symphony of rifle shots and shouting. Barney and Christmas, caught in a narrow alleyway, move with practiced coordination, taking cover, returning fire. Bullets whiz past their heads, chipping away at the stone walls around them. Christmas, ever agile, uses the environment to his advantage, scaling a wall, dropping onto unsuspecting guards with a silent thud and a quick, decisive strike. Barney, a force of nature, tackles a soldier, disarms him with a jarring clack of metal, and uses his own weapon against the rest. They fight their way to their seaplane, the roaring engine already sputtering to life. But as they prepare to take off, Sandra, in a selfless act, refuses to join them. She believes she must stay to fight for her people, to be a beacon of hope, even if it means certain death. Barney, seeing the fire in her eyes, the echoes of Toole's story about the burning woman, is visibly conflicted. He makes a split-second decision that goes against every mercenary instinct. He leaves her. The plane takes off, leaving Sandra behind on the dock, a solitary figure against the backdrop of a setting sun and a brewing storm. The engine's roar is deafening, but the silence between Barney and Christmas is even louder. This is the moment the mission changes from a job to something deeply personal. Back in New Orleans, the weight of that decision hangs heavy over Barney. He's a man used to making tough calls, but leaving Sandra behind, knowing what fate might await her, gnaws at him. He finds Toole in the tattoo parlor, seeking not just a new tattoo, but solace, wisdom, a way to reconcile his actions with his conscience. Toole, ever the observer of human nature, senses Barney's turmoil. He sees the regret etched on Barney's face, the slight slump of his shoulders. Toole offers more of his poignant philosophy, his voice a low, raspy murmur. He talks about guilt, about the choices they make, and the ghosts that follow them. He says that the difference between them and the truly evil men they hunt is that they feel remorse. Munroe, he says, feels nothing. This conversation is less about advice and more about affirmation, a recognition of Barney's hidden humanity beneath layers of scars and cynicism. It's a quiet, powerful moment, the gentle buzz of the tattoo gun the only sound breaking the thoughtful silence. It's in these moments that the film reminds us that these larger-than-life characters are still very much human, with their own burdens and demons. Meanwhile, the team dynamics are, shall we say, not exactly a picnic. Gunner Jensen, ever the loose cannon, is becoming an increasing liability. His erratic behavior, fueled by what we can only assume is a cocktail of stress and questionable life choices, reaches a boiling point. During a sparring session, he goes too far, nearly choking Yin Yang out. Yin Yang, though smaller, is no pushover, his eyes flaring with anger as he struggles. The other team members quickly intervene, pulling Gunner off. It's a raw, unscripted moment of violence within the team itself, shaking their foundation. Barney, seeing the danger Gunner poses not just to the mission but to the lives of his crew, makes a difficult call. He fires Gunner. It's not a gentle dismissal, it's a stark, unambiguous declaration that Gunner is a liability. Gunner, enraged and feeling betrayed, lashes out verbally, his words laced with bitterness and a hint of manic glee. He vows revenge, snarling threats that hang in the humid Louisiana air. The scene is tense, charged with a primal anger that hints at future conflict. The rest of the team watches in grim silence, knowing Barney made the right decision, but also aware of the dangerous enemy they've just created within their own ranks. Gunner's departure leaves a void, but also a sense of uneasy relief. The guilt over leaving Sandra gnaws at Barney until he can't ignore it anymore. He decides to go back for her, a choice driven by his conscience, not by Church's money. He approaches Christmas, who initially refuses, his voice laced with the bitterness of his own personal struggles. Christmas sees the mission as pointless, a suicidal folly. He's tired, jaded, and perhaps a little too wrapped up in his own troubles. Barney respects his decision, but the disappointment is clear in his eyes. He prepares to go alone, a solitary figure ready to face an entire army for a single woman he barely knows. But Christmas, as we know, isn't a heartless mercenary. He's a man with a deep-seated loyalty to Barney, a bond forged in countless battles. He has a change of heart, arriving just as Barney is about to leave, his face set with grim determination. "You'll look like you need a ride," he quips, a subtle smile playing on his lips. It's a classic action movie moment, the kind that makes you fist pump. The rest of the team, without hesitation, also rally. Toll Road, Caesar, and Yin Yang, their expressions stoic but resolute, fall in line. They, the Expendables, and they stick together. Their camaraderie, tested by internal conflict, emerge stronger. They know the odds are stacked against them, but they also know they're doing the right thing. It's no longer about money, it's about justice and redemption. The team makes their way back to Vilena, this time with a full-scale assault in mind. Their mode of transport, a custom-built, heavily armed plane, looks less like an aircraft and more like a flying tank. As they approach the island, the anticipation is electric. This isn't a recon mission, this is a full-blown invasion. They execute a low-altitude drop, parachuting into the dense jungle under the cover of darkness. The whoosh of their chutes opening, the soft thud of their boots hitting the jungle floor are the only sounds initially, quickly followed by the rustling of leaves as they move stealthily through the undergrowth. Yin Yang, a master of stealth, takes the lead. He moves like a shadow, slipping past guards with impossible ease, his small frame allowing him to navigate tight spaces. He's the first in, his quick, decisive takedowns silent and efficient. We hear the muffled thud of a guard dropping, the subtle clack of his weapon being secured. He's clearing the path, preparing for the storm that's about to break. It's a beautifully choreographed sequence of silent infiltration, a stark contrast to the impresent explosion fest. The infiltration is meticulous, but it's never going to stay quiet for long with this crew. The moment they hit their targets, the island erupts. Caesar, with his massive AA-12 shotgun, becomes a walking instrument of devastation. The boom of his shotgun blasts sends a wave of concussive force through the air, knocking enemies off their feet, their bodies propelled backward like rag dolls. It's ridiculously over the top and utterly glorious. Toll Road engages in brutal hand-to-hand combat, his punches landing with sickening cracks and thuds, disarming and incapacitating soldiers with primal force. He's a brawler, relying on sheer strength and resilience, absorbing blows and delivering them back twofold. Christmas is a blur of motion, his knives always finding their mark with deadly accuracy. He weaves through firefights, his movements fluid and precise, a ballet of death. You hear the sharp thwip of a knife leaving his hand, the wet thud as it finds its target. He's a one-man army, taking down multiple assailants with a dizzying display of skill. Barney, the tactical mastermind and lead, coordinates the assault, barking orders, his own gun spitting fire with methodical efficiency. He's everywhere, leading the charge, providing covering fire, always pushing forward. The air is thick with the smell of gunpowder and burning fuel, the sounds of gunfire and explosions creating a deafening symphony of war. Amidst the chaos, Barney finds himself face to face with Payne, Munroe's hulking enforcer. It's a brutal, no-holds-barred fight, a clash of titans. Payne is a force of nature, a mountain of muscle, his punches landing with bone-jarring impact. Barney, though smaller, is quicker, more experienced, dodging and weaving, looking for an opening. The sounds are visceral, the heavy thwack of a punch connecting with a jaw, the muffled grunt of pain, the scraping of boots on concrete as they grapple. It's a primal struggle, each man pushing the other to their limits, a microcosm of the larger battle raging around them. Barney, seeing the fire in her eyes, the echoes of Toole's story about the burning woman, is visibly conflicted. He makes a split-second decision that goes against every mercenary instinct. He leaves her. The plane takes off, leaving Sandra behind on the dock, a solitary figure against the backdrop of a setting sun and a brewing storm. The engine's roar is deafening, but the silence between Barney and Christmas is even louder. This is the moment the mission changes from a job to something deeply personal. Back in New Orleans, the weight of that decision hangs heavy over Barney. He's a man used to making tough calls, but leaving Sandra behind, knowing what fate might await her, gnaws at him. He finds Toole in the...
Barney, in his relentless pursuit, is briefly captured. It's a tense moment, his hands bound, a gun pressed to his head. He's face to face with Munroe, who delivers a monologue of pure villainy, gloating about his control and his ruthlessness. But Barney, ever resourceful, manages a daring escape. He twists, struggles, using the element of surprise and a hidden blade to break free. The sounds are quick, decisive, the snick of a blade, the startled cry of a guard, the sudden crack of a neck. He manages to get away, but not before witnessing Munroe's cold-blooded efficiency and the absolute despair on Sandra's face. He knows now, more than ever, that Munroe must be stopped and Sandra must be saved. Just when things seem bleakest, a familiar, hulking figure emerges from the shadows, Gunner Jensen. He's back, but not in the way anyone expected. Earlier, Munroe, being the conniving type, had actually hired Gunner to work for him, believing he could exploit Gunner's instability. But Gunner, despite his flaws, still has a sliver of loyalty to his former team, or perhaps just a deeper sense of right and wrong than Munroe could ever comprehend. He turns on Munroe's men, his signature maniacal laugh echoing through the compound as he unleashes a torrent of gunfire, mowing down Munroe's soldiers. It's a moment of surprising redemption, a sudden explosive shift in allegiance. The team, initially wary, quickly realizes he's fighting on their side, and the reunion, though brief and punctuated by explosions, is a welcome sight. Looks like someone had a change of heart, Christmas deadpans, dodging a blast of incoming fire. With Gunner back in the fold, the final assault on Garza's compound escalates into an absolute spectacle of destruction. The entire island becomes a war zone, a symphony of explosions, gunfire, and the screams of Munroe's rapidly dwindling forces. The ground trembles with the concussive force of grenades and C4 charges. Buildings crumble, sending clouds of dust and debris into the air. Fire rages, casting an orange glow over the unfolding carnage. It's a glorious, gratuitous display of firepower designed to make you grin from ear to ear. You can practically feel the heat from the screen. Caesar is a beast, his shotgun roaring, sending a literal storm of lead and shrapnel into the enemy. Toll Road, with his bare hands, breaks bones and pulverizes skulls, moving through the enemy ranks like an unstoppable force. Gunner, fully unleashed and finally pointed in the right direction, revels in the chaos, his large caliber weapon chewing through cover and flesh alike. Yin Yang, light and agile, uses his martial arts to expertly disarm and incapacitate, a deadly dance of kicks and punches. Christmas, meanwhile, is doing what Christmas does best, throwing knives with pinpoint accuracy, each thwip followed by a satisfying thud as another enemy falls. He's also engaging in some truly brutal hand-to-hand combat, his strikes swift and efficient, delivering a torrent of punches that land with a sharp crack. The climax features a series of intense personal confrontations. Barney, battered and bruised, faces pain in a brutal rematch. This isn't a quick fight, it's a drawn-out, visceral struggle for survival. They grapple, trading bone-crunching blows. You hear the heavy thud of a body slamming against metal, the ragged gasps for breath, the grunts of exertion. Payne's sheer strength is immense, but Barney's experience and refusal to yield eventually win out. With a final desperate move, Barney overpowers Payne, delivering a devastating blow that sends the enforcer collapsing in a heap, defeated. It's a victory earned through sheer grit and a lifetime of fighting. Christmas, on the other hand, finds himself in a dizzying sequence of close-quarters combat against a swarm of Payne's remaining henchmen. He's using everything at his disposal: knives, his fists, the environment itself. He slides, ducks, weaves, turning the confined spaces into his personal killing ground. His movements are so fast they're almost a blur, a flurry of strikes and throws. You hear the frantic scrambling of feet, the sharp snap of a bone, the choked cries of his attackers. It's a masterclass in controlled chaos, with Christmas looking utterly unruffled through it all. Honestly, the man could probably cut an apple in half with a playing card if he really wanted to. Yin Yang at one point finds himself overwhelmed, his smaller stature making it harder to fend off multiple attackers. Just when it seems he might be in serious trouble, Gunner, with a thunderous roar, smashes through the wall beside him, literally ripping through the concrete to save him. It's a moment of genuine camaraderie, a clear sign that Gunner has come full circle, putting his loyalty to the team above his own volatile nature. "Need a hand?" Gunner grunts, wiping a bit of drywall dust from his face, before proceeding to decimate the remaining enemies with a barrage of gunfire. It's a moment of surprising redemption, a sudden explosive shift in allegiance. The team, initially wary, quickly realizes he's fighting on their side, and the reunion, though brief and punctuated by explosions, is a welcome sight. "Looks like someone had a change of heart," Christmas deadpans, dodging a blast of incoming fire. With Gunner back in the fold, the final assault on Garza's compound escalates into an absolute spectacle of destruction. The entire island becomes a war zone, a symphony of explosions, gunfire, and the screams of Munroe's rapidly dwindling forces. The ground trembles with the concussive force of grenades and C4 charges. Buildings crumble, sending clouds of dust and debris into the air. Fire rages, casting an orange glow over the unfolding carnage. It's a glorious, gratuitous display of firepower designed to make you grin from ear to ear. You can practically feel the heat from the screen. Caesar is a beast, his shotgun roaring, sending a literal storm of lead and shrapnel into the enemy. Toll Road, with his bare hands, breaks bones and pulverizes skulls, moving through the enemy ranks like an unstoppable force. Gunner, fully unleashed and finally pointed in the right direction, revels in the chaos, his large caliber weapon chewing through cover and flesh alike. Yin Yang, light and agile, uses his martial arts to expertly disarm and incapacitate, a deadly dance of kicks and punches. Christmas, meanwhile, is doing what Christmas does best, throwing knives with pinpoint accuracy, each thwip followed by a satisfying thud as another enemy falls. He's also engaging in some truly brutal hand-to-hand combat, his strikes swift and efficient, delivering a torrent of punches that land with a sharp crack. The climax features a series of intense personal confrontations. Barney, battered and bruised, faces Payne in a brutal rematch. This isn't a quick fight, it's a drawn-out, visceral struggle for survival. They grapple, trading bone-crunching blows. You hear the heavy thud of a body slamming against metal, the ragged gasps for breath, the grunts of exertion. Payne's sheer strength is immense, but Barney's experience and refusal to yield eventually win out. With a final desperate move, Barney overpowers Payne, delivering a devastating blow that sends the enforcer collapsing in a heap, defeated. It's a victory earned through sheer grit and a lifetime of fighting. Christmas, on the other hand, finds himself in a dizzying sequence of close-quarters combat against a swarm of Payne's remaining henchmen. He's using everything at his disposal: knives, his fists, the environment itself. He slides, ducks, weaves, turning the confined spaces into his personal killing ground. His movements are so fast they're almost a blur, a flurry of strikes and throws. You hear the frantic scrambling of feet, the sharp snap of a bone, the choked cries of his attackers. It's a masterclass in controlled chaos, with Christmas looking utterly unruffled through it all. Honestly, the man could probably cut an apple in half with a playing card if he really wanted to. Yin Yang at one point finds himself overwhelmed, his smaller stature making it harder to fend off multiple attackers. Just when it seems he might be in serious trouble, Gunner, with a thunderous roar, smashes through the wall beside him, literally ripping through the concrete to save him. It's a moment of genuine camaraderie, a clear sign that Gunner has come full circle, putting his loyalty to the team above his own volatile nature. "Need a hand?" Gunner grunts, wiping a bit of drywall dust from his face, before proceeding to decimate the remaining enemies with a barrage of gunfire. Finally, Barney and Christmas corner Munroe. The rogue CIA operative, bruised and desperate, tries one last pathetic attempt to bargain, to rationalize his heinous actions, his voice a strained, panicked whisper. He offers money, power, anything to save his own skin. But Barney and Christmas are beyond negotiation. They've seen too much, fought too hard, sacrificed too much to let him walk away. Munroe's words fall on deaf ears. Barney, with a look of grim satisfaction, simply says, "You're done." Before Munroe can even process the finality of the statement, his entire world explodes. The final detonation is massive, a concussive blast that shakes the ground, sending a fireball ripping through the structure. Munroe, and everything he stood for, is utterly obliterated. It's a fitting end for a man who reveled in destruction. With Munroe gone and the island liberated, the team ensures Sandra's safety. She finds a cache of money, Munroe's ill-gotten gains, and instead of keeping it, she gives it back to the people of Vilena, providing them with a chance to rebuild, to forge a new future free from tyranny. It's a powerful moment of hope amidst the rebel, a clear indication that their mission truly made a difference. The Expendables, having completed their mission of liberation and redemption, prepare to leave